Hello children. Today we are going to talk about plants. We see plants all around us, everywhere, isn't it? Right from the potted plants in our houses to the big trees in the forests. There are many different kinds of plants and different kinds of trees and different uses for them also. Now tell me one thing. Is a plant a living thing or a non-living thing? First let me explain you what is a living thing. A living thing is the one which can breathe, which can grow and which can reproduce. Now tell me, is a plant a living thing or a non-living thing? Yes, it is a living thing. Plants can breathe, they can grow and they can reproduce also. That is, they can make more plants from themselves. Now, let us look at some of the parts of the plants. I think you must have already known this, but let's talk about them one more time. See, it's quite obvious from this picture that these are the leaves and these red things are the fruits. These are the flowers. This is the stem. See, this is the stem and these are the roots. The roots are always below the soil. They are under the soil. Okay, so the roots are under the soil and all the rest of the parts are above the soil, isn't it? That's why we call the roots or the parts which are below the soil as the root system, and all the parts which are above the soil we call it as the shoot system. This is the root system and this is the shoot system. I'll show you one more picture about that. Now here it is clear, isn't it? See, this is the root system which is under the soil. And what does the shoot system contain? It contains the leaves, flowers, fruits and the stem. Now let's talk about the root systems. If you look at these roots closely, there is one main root emerging from the stem of the plant and there are side roots coming from the main root, isn't it? This whole thing, the main root and the side roots together, they are called the root system. In the root system, we have two kinds of root systems. One is the taproot system and the other is fibrous root system. Okay, what is a taproot system? In the taproot system, we have, like I told already, there will be one main root and some small hair-like side roots coming out of the main root. In the taproot system, we have one main root and some side roots coming from the main root. See, these are the examples of taproot: carrot, beetroot, radish, yam. All these things are examples of taproot system. I'll show you those pictures also in few more minutes. But first, let's look at the fibrous root system also. In the fibrous root system, the roots, there is no main root as such. There are many roots emerging from the stem of the plant and all are of similar size only. Okay, it looks like a lot of fiber. That is why it is named as fibrous root system. Okay, so the two root systems are, one is the taproot system and the other is fibrous root system. Examples of taproot are carrots, beetroots, radish, etc. And the examples for fibrous root system is grasses. Different kinds of grasses are there. All have the fibrous root system only. Okay, so this is another picture showing the two root systems, the taproot system and the fibrous root system. In the taproot system also, all these three are from the taproot system only, but they are looking a little different. See, the carrots are straight, the beetroots are a little rounded, and this is showing exactly how a taproot will be. See, the main root and the side roots emerging from it. Okay, now let's look at some of the pictures of examples of these two root systems. These are carrots from the taproot system, and this is the cross section of the soil, and if you can see, the carrot is the main root and there are some small hair-like side roots emerging from the carrot. Okay, so this is one example. And the dandelions, even the dandelion, this is the dandelion flower, and look at its roots, the main root and some small side roots coming out of it. Okay, this is also taproot system. And beetroots, the same. This is the main root and these are the side roots. Turnips, main root and the small side roots, if you can see here. again radish, the same taproot system. This is the main root and the small side roots. Sweet potatoes, the sweet potato is the main root and there will be small hair like side roots. And yam, we also call it as taro or yam. This is also from taproot system. And cassava, you must know the sago, isn't it? Sago is made from the cassava. This is the fruit from which the sago is made. Even this also belongs to the taproot system. So these are the examples of taproot system: cassava, yam, sweet potatoes, radish, turnip, beetroots, dandelions, and carrots. And coming to the examples of fibrous root system, grasses, different kinds of grasses. Now, as we are talking about the roots, now tell me, why are the roots there? What do the roots do for the plant? And why does the plant need roots? Let's learn about all these things now. That is, we are learning about the functions of the roots. Okay. So here are the functions of the roots. I'll tell about them in short here, and later we will talk about them in detail. So the functions of the roots are: they absorb water. They absorb water from the soil, and the second is they hold the plant in place, and they store food, and sometimes they also store water. And the last one is propagation. The roots also help in the propagation of the plant, that is making new plants from itself. Okay, now let's learn about all these in detail. So the first function is the roots absorb water. They absorb water and other minerals from the soil and send all those to the upper parts of the plant, that is to the leaves, stem, fruits and flowers, to the shoot system. The roots absorb the water and minerals from the soil and send it to the shoot system, to all the parts in the shoot system. Okay, so basically it is providing water and food for the plant, isn't it? And the next one is they store food. Some plants store food in the roots. For example, carrots, beetroots, all the root vegetables which we eat are examples for storing food in the roots. Like, okay, I'll tell you more examples. Like carrots, beetroots, turnips, yam, cassava, all these things are examples of storing food in the roots. Okay, the next one is storing water. Some plants also store water in the roots, like pumpkin and asparagus. Pumpkin and asparagus are fruits, they are on the top of the soil only, but their roots, which are inside the soil, they store water. Okay. Okay, so they absorb water and minerals from the roots, they store food, and they also store water. So the next one is the roots hold the plant firmly to the ground. The roots will spread themselves inside the soil. They will cover a wide area, and that is how they provide support to the plant. Imagine if the root system is not strong enough, or if there is no roots at all, can the plant stand firmly? Imagine there is a strong wind coming up or a strong rain. The plant will not stand firmly if the roots are not strong enough. That is why the roots will spread deep inside the soil to provide more support for the plant or the tree. Okay, as we are talking about the roots providing support to the plant, let's look at some different kinds of roots and how they support the plants. Okay, the first type is aerial roots. This is an example of aerial roots. As you can see, these roots will start emerging from the branches of the trees, here, and they grow downwards till they reach the soil here, till they reach the ground. See, in this picture you can see it clearly. They started emerging from the branches and they are growing downwards. After they reach the bottom, they will bury themselves inside the soil so that they can get the minerals and other nutrients from around the soil also, from around the tree. And they also provide support to the tree. See, if there are no aerial roots here and if there is only one big trunk in the middle, it might not hold such a wide tree, isn't it? So that is why these aerial roots will anchor themselves in the ground to provide extra support for the plant, for the tree. Okay, so the aerial roots start emerging from the branches, they grow downwards, They anchor themselves inside the soil, and that is how they give support to the trees. The next one is buttress roots. This is the aerial roots, and next we are looking at buttress roots. This type of roots, they start emerging from the bottom of the trunk. See, this is the trunk or the stem of the tree, and these roots start emerging from the bottom of the trunk and they spread around the tree and they spread themselves inside the soil. These also provide extra support for the plant from the bottom, and they also provide one more function for the tree. That is, these roots can take nutrients and water from the shallow soil. These roots are not going deep into the soil. These take nutrients from the shallow soil. That is the soil on the top layer of the soil. Okay, so they provide extra support and they also absorb water and minerals from the shallow soil. And the next type is mangrove trees. The mangrove trees are found in swamps or marshy lands. These mangrove trees, they grow above the water and their roots are submerged under the water, like you see here. Okay, these type of roots hold the trees to the ground under the water, and they also help them to breathe. So the roots of the mangrove trees help them to breathe under the water also. And the next type is propagative roots. See, in this type of propagative roots, they help the plant to make more plants like itself. For example, a strawberry plant. Here you can see one of the roots. This one is called the runner. This produces some small buds along it. This runner produces some small buds along its length, which will grow into a new plant. So this is the new plant which has come from this main plant. We call it as the daughter plant, and this is the main plant. Okay, so this type of roots help the plants to make more plants like itself. That is why they are called propagative roots. Okay. And another example of propagative roots is the cherry tree. Even for the cherry tree also, the roots, see, these are the roots of the cherry tree. These are also propagative roots, and as you can see, if the tree is standing here, these roots will emerge from the base of the plant and they propagate outward from the tree. After reaching some distance, they will form a bud, and and a new cherry plant will come out of that bud. Now, why are these called as propagative roots? Because they help the trees or the plants to propagate, that is, make more plants like themselves. Okay. Now let's look at the summary of all the types of roots we learned till now. First is the aerial roots. These are also called as prop roots or secondary roots. And examples of aerial roots are banyan tree and peepal tree. The second one is buttress roots. These emerge from the bottom of the trunk and spread themselves around the tree into the shallow soil. Next is propagative roots. These help the plants to make more plants like themselves, and examples are cherry trees and strawberry plants. Next is mangroves. The roots of the mangrove trees are submerged under the water, and from there they support the plant to stand straight, and they also help the trees to breathe. Okay, and let's look at the summary of all the things we learned till now in this class. The first thing is plants are living things. And coming to the parts of the plant, what are the parts of the plant? Stem, branches, leaves, flowers, fruits, and the roots. And coming to the root systems, there are two types of root systems. First is the taproot system, and the other is fibrous root system. What is the taproot system? In the taproot system, we have one main root and some small side roots emerging from the main root. And in the fibrous root system, there are many number of roots, all looking like fibers and all looking similar. All the roots are emerging from the base of the plant only, and there is no main root in this fibrous root system. And coming to the functions of the roots, first is they absorb water and nutrients from the soil. They hold the plant firmly to the ground. They store food. They also, some roots also store water, and they also help in propagation. Okay. And the last topic in this class is deforestation. What is deforestation? Deforestation is nothing but large scale cutting down of trees. When trees are cut down in this scale, what will happen to the climate? What is its effect on the climate? We all know that the trees produce oxygen, isn't it? When the trees are cut down in such a big scale, the levels of oxygen in the air will go down. They go down drastically. And because of that, we might not have a quality air to breathe. Okay? Because of the deforestation, the levels of oxygen in the air goes down and we won't have enough air to breathe. And another effect of deforestation is landslides. As there are no proper roots to hold the soil in place, the top layer of the soil will slide. It will erode or it will slide and causes a disaster. Look here. It is a natural disaster, and this is one of the effects of deforestation. Because all the trees are cut down and there is no proper roots to hold the soil in place, it causes landslides. Deforestation is large scale cutting down of trees. And what are the effects of deforestation? It brings the levels of oxygen in the air down, and it causes landslides also. Okay, so that's it for today's lesson, children. Let's meet in our online class. Bye bye.